Calix Boxing here. Hit that sub button for nightly boxing videos. Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev. To me, Sergey Kovalev is Andre Ward's penance to get back right with this boxing fan. And I can only speak for myself and only observe what other boxing fans are out there doing in their narrative. But for me, as this boxing fan, it's his way to get back on the right track. And that's what this is. Kovalev is Andre Ward's soup kitchen, and what I mean by that is, the great thing about being Catholic is confession is one of the 7 sacraments. And if you're not Catholic, what happens is every couple months or so, you do confession. You get in the booth with the priest and confess your sins. And I remember clearly being in middle school, high school, and going to confession going in the booth with the priest, and you state your sins since the last time you went in, and the priest goes, all right, I want you to say a Hail Mary. Go out there, say a Hail Mary and Our Father, and we're all good here. We're all wrapped up. It's all good. And I remember clearly scratching my head one time and saying, wait, that's it? That's it? Like, I just poured out my heart. Like, I kicked a puppy for no reason. I've been disobeying my parents. I stole a bike. I took a Playboy out of my dad's closet and was looking at nasty pictures. I did all this stuff, and you're telling me a Hail Mary and Our Father is what gets us squared away here? Like, cool, awesome. Like, the bar here is very low. Awesome, I love this. I love being Catholic. The bar here is very low. But I remember 10 years ago, of age now, and I go, there's a priest in town from New Jersey who I'm cool with. He came down for a retreat, and I'm like, can we do confession real quick? And he's like, yeah, cool, come in. And we do the confession, and I'm pouring out some heathen stuff. I'm like, there's this guy at work that I hate, can't stand him, and I often envision hitting him in the back of the head with a sledgehammer repeatedly, and other stuff like that. And he's just shaking his head and probably thinking to himself, like, this dude's a heathen. And after, he's like, all right, it's cool. You came to confession. You confess your sins. That's the first step. Now you got to do your penance. And your penance is, we got this soup kitchen. We're feeding the homeless on Thanksgiving for the community. And you got to come by. You got to come do that. I'm like, wait, what? I got to do what? Man, Thanksgiving's my day off. I want to sleep in. I don't want to wake up at 6 a.m. and do that. And he's like, no, you got to do it. That's your penance. You got to get right. You have to perform. I'm thinking to myself, like, no, like these other dudes told me a Hail Mary and an Our Father is cool. Like, that's what gets us squared away. That's it. That's all we got to do. And you're telling me now I got to actually do stuff? He's like, yeah, that's how this works. You have free will. You have to get out there and perform. You can't just say a Hail Mary and Our Father every couple months and think we're cool. Like, you got to perform. I was thinking after I went to the soup kitchen, I was like, man, I'm thankful for that guy, because otherwise, these other guys were promoting apathy. Now, otherwise, I would have just been out here acting like a heathen every couple months, and then saying Our Father, Hail Mary, and then being back. And look, if you don't believe in that stuff, that's fine. I'm not saying anything about that, but knowing that I have to perform made me perform. All right, going back to boxing here, my issue, and look, I love Kovalev versus Ward. Great fight, 2 supremely talented fighters. It's just an excellent fight, and we need more of it. And by the way, people doing backflips and thanking Andre Ward for taking this fight, and see, I told you, Andre Ward, what a warrior, he's fighting Kovalev, and doing backflips all of a sudden, for thanking him for something he's supposed to do. If you're a competitor, you're supposed to compete against the best. That's how this works. And we shouldn't be sucking this dude off for finally doing it. All right. The other day, my 1-year-old son threw trash in the house, and my wife was doing backflips. Like, she's clapping for him like we won the Super Bowl. Oh, look what he did. He threw the trash away. Great. And I'm thinking to myself, like, that's it. Like, he's supposed to do that. He's supposed to throw the trash in the trash. Now, if he walked out the front door and checked the mail, that would be something different. Then I'd be doing backflips. But he just threw the trash away. He's doing something he's supposed to do. My problem with the narrative going into this fight is it's for the pound-for-pound title, and admittedly, still, I don't know what that means. But it's cool if that's what people want to talk about. It's fine, and you know, I understand that even though it's mythical, it still exists in people's mind. It's still something cool to talk about. I get it, but is the bar so low from boxing fans that a guy can fight a tough fight once every 4 years, and if he wins that fight, he's considered the pound-for-pound king? That's it? Doesn't that promote apathy? To me, like I said, this is penance for what he's done the past 4 years. This is getting back on the right track, but it's getting back on the right track. And look, you can do both. Like, you can say that Andre Ward is a supremely talented fighter. He's an incredibly talented fighter. He is. And his run from 2009-ish to 2012 was a great run. It just was. Beating Froch, who is a hard guy to beat. Beating Chad Dawson. You know, that win doesn't look as great now, but it was still at the time a great win. And beating Kessler when not too many people at the time thought he was going to beat Kessler. And by the way, I was one of them who did think he was going to beat Kessler and win the Super 6, and was promoting him heavy on this channel at the time, when all these guys who are all of a sudden Andre Ward fans were nowhere to be found. But you can do both. You can say he's a supremely talented fighter, but at the same time, he's disappointing. He's a disappointing fighter for the past 4 years. He's been disappointing. He's continuously just been disappointing. But at the same time, you can say Kovalev beating Ward is a great win. It would be a great win. And Ward beating Kovalev would be a great win. It would. But does it all of a sudden make him pound for pound king? Like, is the bar that low to where you can beat a tough fighter once every 4 years and be considered the pound for pound king just because you're supremely talented and you did some great things from 2009 to 2012, 4 to 7 years ago? That's it? That's it. Doesn't that promote apathy? Like, what's stopping Andre Ward for after the Kovalev win from 2016 to 2019 or 2020, going back on a run where he's fighting not so good opposition, fighting once every year, and then fighting whoever the top fighter is in 2020? What's stopping him from doing that? Boxing fans aren't. They sure as hell aren't. I'm watching D-Styles video earlier, and I have him as a promoted channel here, so obviously I think a lot of him. A lot of substance. I think he's the most entertaining channel on here. He's an entertaining, funny dude. But I'm watching the Kovalev versus Ward video where he's comparing it to Greek mythology, and he's comparing the army behind Kovalev as almost he's portraying them almost as these cavemen type zombie-like creatures who just follow Kovalev, crusher, Kovalev, crusher. And the army behind Ward, he's portraying as these patient, calm, level-headed people, as our warrior isn't here yet. Don't worry, our warrior is coming. Be patient. And even if he's not talking about people like me who have promoted Kovalev the past couple years as a great fighter who is taking on challenges and giving us activity and knockouts, and Ward as this guy who is disappointing. And obviously I think a lot of Ward, if I think he's disappointing, by the way, but over the past couple years anyway. But even if he's not talking about the unbiased people like myself, even if he's talking about the extreme fan base of both of these fighters, it's still inaccurate, because he's still portraying the Ward side as the level-headed, patient side. And we all know that's not the case over the past couple of years with the Ward, hardcore Ward fans. We know that's not the case. I don't understand why it's wrong to bash what Ward has been doing. I don't understand why it's wrong to say, wait, this guy, if pound for pound is a real thing, this guy is not it right now. He's not it. If this is a real thing, If this pound for pound thing is a living, breathing thing, he's not it. Not right now. And just beating Kovalev, yes, that's a step in the right direction. That is a great win. And that's added to some of his great wins 4 to 7 years ago. But you still have to do more. We still should be demanding more. I understand promoters, managers, networks aren't going to demand a lot of fighters. That's where the boxing fans have to come and play and say, no. There's checks and balances here. As boxing fans, we have a duty to say, we expect more. I expect more of this guy. This guy is extremely talented. I expect more. I need more. And unless we're there for those checks and balances, unless we're there to do that, then guess what? There's nobody to keep these guys honest. And if you learn anything from this channel, anything, just know this. My war cry, my battle cry for this channel will be, and it has been in the past, and it will be heavy going forward. Give credit to the guys. Give credit to the Sean Porters of the world. More so than the Danny Garcias of the world. When you see Danny Garcia ranked higher than Andre Ward consistently on rankings, I mean higher than Sean Porter consistently in rankings, something is wrong there. Something is wrong. And I don't have to explain to you why. Reward the guys who take tough fights. Call out the guys who don't. And yes, I'm rewarding Andre Ward here for taking a tough fight, but he has to, even after this penance, he has to live it. He has to live it out. He has to continue taking tough fights to be considered a great fighter. And I wouldn't even be talking, look, dude, if you want to take the low risk, high reward route, fine, beautiful, do it. I'm not going to think much of you, but do it. Apparently you can get off the hook with doing it. Fighters are doing it all the time. And boxing fans are letting them off the hook. But don't in the next sentence, when somebody asks you about pound for pound, do you think you're a great fighter? Don't in the next sentence say, yeah, I think I'm the pound for pound best. You can't have it both ways. You can't. If you want to be low risk, high reward, and I have no problem with you wanting to, when you're 50 years old, be able to have a brain and raise your children. I have no problems with that. Even though I'm not going to reward you much as a boxing fan. But don't in the same breath say, I want people to respect me as a pound for pound king. I want people to respect me as top 10 pound for pound. You know, when I see Danny Garcia videos and Angel Garcia videos, and when I see Angel Garcia say, why fight a Keith Thurman when you can fight a Rod Selka for the same amount of money? And then in the next sentence he says, my son is number 2 pound for pound behind Floyd Mayweather. No. Screw you. And screw anybody who doesn't call these guys out on that. That's pretty much where I'm at with it. Reward the guys with tough resumes. You know, I didn't just wake up one day liking Carl Froch and liking Miguel Cotto and liking Manny Pacquiao and liking Pernell Whitaker, liking Marvin Hagler. It happened for a reason. It happened because these guys went through fire. And yes, in the past history, there are outliers. There are examples that people are going to throw out. Well, this guy didn't have to go through the fire to get his greatness, and this guy, those are outliers. Those are not the rule. Now it's almost the norm for guys to not go through fire and consider these great fighters and these legendary fighters, and it's bullcrap. Sergey Kovalev is Andre Ward's penance. It's something he had to do to get right with this boxing fan, and hopefully after that he continues to live it, stays consistent, and continues to fight great fights. I'm out.